the gladiator mentality, and people look at us like, okay, really? Or, yeah, really.
All right, let's do this. Diamond Envy Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas. Diamond Envy, as always, brought to you by Cavens Group. Check them out, cavensgroup.com. Senior weekend. You guys believe it? Won't be the final home game this weekend that OU softball plays this year, but it's senior weekend. That means we're going to be celebrating a bunch of players that have won multiple national championships in their career. A lot of these players, all they've known is winning national championships so far in their OU career. And Patty just had to get emotional about it on Tuesday. You know, I can listen to a lot of people get emotional and just, handle it just fine, right? Okay, whatever. It's someone getting emotional. It's not that big of a deal. See it all the time on camera. I don't know what it is. Am I the only one? There's something about hearing Patty tear up after a season, seeing Patty tear up talking about her team. There's just something about Patty, of all people, really getting emotional that gets to me. I'm like, dang, like it was Tuesday night. I'm like, I'm not dreading this weekend, but not ready to see the senior class go, even though they've won so many softball games. So Patty got emotional kind of right in the middle of the press conference. And when Patty gets emotional, I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's hard not to get emotional. And Patty doesn't get emotional over everything. She gets emotional when she's talking about some of her players and the incredible things that they've done throughout their OU career. And this senior class, of course. I mean, come on. The wins that they'll have, the championships that they'll have. Maybe it's the most successful senior class, I don't know, in the past 20, 25 years of college softball, maybe ever. I mean, they'll be up there, especially if they end up finishing the job again this year with another national championship. But just hats off to that entire crew, and let's see them go out the right way this weekend, right? With a 3-game sweep over the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. But hey, the big talking point, the big lead on the podcast here recently has been about who? That's right. It's been about Kierston Deal. Back-to-back Big 12 Pitcher of the Week, Kierston Deal. First time since G. Juarez did it where that's been the case at OU. I mean, daggum. I've been singing her praises for the past couple of weeks. You guys have heard me just harp on and on about Kierston Deal did this. And if Kierston Deal does this weekend, then that's what this means. And she's the legitimate number 2 pitcher. And maybe OU has the best 1-2 punch in all of college softball. Hey, I've been talking up Kierston Deal. You guys know this. But back-to-back Big 12 Pitcher of the Week, that's big-time stuff. I just so happy for her and what that means for the now, what that means for the future, and just the confidence that she has right now. You could just see it. And she was on the ref. She was on our radio station on Wednesday morning. And not that I've heard a ton of interviews with Kierston Deal before, but she's going to go into arguably the biggest start of her OU career this weekend. I think that an argument can be made with the Big 12 Conference on the line, just with so many things on the line this weekend, maybe the final time for a while that you play Oklahoma State in a series. Like it's going to be a big start for Kierston Deal. There's going to be a lot of pressure because she is the Big 12 Pitcher of the Week in back-to-back weeks. Oklahoma State knows that. Oklahoma State, I'm sure, wants to get a piece of her. You couldn't tell that there's any nerves whatsoever as of Tuesday morning. Kierston Deal's all, I can't wait. I can't wait to get out there on this weekend. I say Saturday. I'm guessing that she probably pitches on Saturday. We'll get to that. But you guys should have heard her like, oh, yeah, it was fun going to Stillwater last year and being that underdog, being that road team, the team that everyone cheers against. I just can't wait to see Love's Field and what it's like with the home fans and to strike someone out and hear the fans. I'm like, yes, you can just hear the confidence that she has right now. It's a big time spot coming up for her, but you wouldn't really notice it. Seems like she's all go and ready to go. And I love that so much. It's really starting to come together for her. And dare I say, I mean, have we seen the best yet of Kierston Deal? Maybe not. I mean, it's gotten better and better and better each start as the starts have gotten more and more difficult. Who's to say that she can't three-peat? She goes out there and has another great outing against a good Oklahoma State lineup, then maybe we're talking about 3 consecutive weeks here. I don't want to put that type of pressure and expectations on her because she's had a marvelous past 2 weeks. But she's in a big spot this weekend, and guys, like, no longer am I worried about it. No longer am I questioning it. It's more of, I think she's going to be great. I think she's going to be just fine in a spot like that. And I think that she's going to deliver. I think she's going to give OU a great chance to win. Maybe she's the reason that OU ends up winning the softball game. I got all the confidence in the world in Kierston Deal. And I'm guessing you guys do too. But you know what? You know what this weekend is? It's statement time. This weekend is statement time for the softball team. That's kind of how I'm looking at it in general. We've talked enough about it, but pitching's been good. The defense has been excellent. Where's that consistent offense? And I thought the offense had a good day on Sunday, and that finale against UCF, and the humidity was a thing. Patty's talked about that this week, but they really showed a lot of toughness. They bounced back well offensively and had a good offensive day. But here's the thing: great to sweep UCF on the road. It's a nice series. Great to sweep Houston at home a couple of weekends ago. But we know what kind of test this is. Go look at the rankings this week. Go look at the Big 12 standings because Oklahoma State is still mathematically in it. This is a top 5 matchup. They want to beat you. They want to win the last Bedlam series that we're going to have for quite some time. It's statement time. And what I mean by statement time is leave no doubt. I don't expect, and I'm not going to pick OU to win 3 games via run rule. And I don't think OU has to win 3 games via run rule to send the message. They can send the message, though, by playing 3 consecutive games this weekend against a bitter in-state rival that can't stand them, that hate them. And they show up offensively, inning in, inning out. The pitching's fantastic. The defense is fantastic. Just in some of the ways that they've done it in previous years, where they've really dominated Oklahoma State and taken 3 of 3, it's statement time. Make the statement that, okay, this is our first really tough series since the Texas series, if we're just being honest about it. Like, no disrespect to UCF or Houston or some of the other series that have happened, but this is the first tough series that this team has had since the Texas series. Go out there and dominate, man. Go out there and leave no doubt that you're the best team. Because I think Oklahoma State will be in Oklahoma City once again this year. And maybe this is the OSU team that can really make a deep run in OKC. But leave no doubt, make the statement, show everyone in college softball that OSU is a good team. And they'll make it to Oklahoma City, and they got a chance to do some damage. But we saw them in a 3-game set against Oklahoma, and there was no doubt whatsoever who the better softball team was. That's what I'm looking for. Because for about a month now, it's been, all right, you don't necessarily have to be playing your best softball right now, but we got to start trending towards it. Like, at some point, the postseason is going to get here. When is this team going to step up and start looking like the Oklahoma of past years, and the Oklahoma that we know that this particular team can be? And guys, like, it's this weekend. The postseason is like in less than a week, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. Or, of course, watching it on YouTube. Please like and subscribe there. Thank you very much. And on the podcast side, too. And leave a review if you don't mind. Now is the time to get hot. Now is the time to turn it on. Now is the time to look like the best team in the country. Because when this team's hitting on all cylinders, when all is going right, when they're playing their best, they are the best team in all of college softball. They are. But now let's start to flex a little bit. And what a fun flex that would be against an Oklahoma State team that, God, they hate you. Man, they really hate you. And we know the things that have been said and all that over the years, but it'd be fun to kind of rub their nose in it this weekend. So go do it. Go do it. You're the big brother, big sister in this thing. You've owned this series. It's been competitive. It's been fun. A lot of games have been close for sure. But go out and dominate. You're the better team. Now is the time to rise to the occasion and play your best softball. And I'm just really excited to see how this team responds. I really am, because I think when the games get more and more difficult here from here on out, I think you're going to see this team rise to the occasion. But let's go. Let's see it. And let's get on these seniors, right? It's on these seniors, on their weekend. On the weekend where there will be all this emotion, for a great career. let them be the ones that we're talking about on Sunday saying, man, how about Kinsey Hansen? How about Tiare and Jada? And how about all these seniors? Like each one of them had a moment. Wouldn't that be cool? If we're all sitting around on Sunday saying, man, some moments were bigger than others. Some moments were a monstrous 3-run bomb. Someone else's moment was a great bunt that ended up right on the chalk on the third baseline that moved the runners and they got to first base. Their moment was a full extension grab in right field that saved 2 runs from scoring. Let everyone have a moment this weekend from the senior class. That would be a lot of fun. And heck, let the moment happen for all 5 players who are finalists for the Player of the Year award. Like, not that I'm surprised. I've said many times before that nothing that can happen now with OU softball surprises me. They do things that impress me. They do things that make me say, "Oh wow, that was really cool. That was really impressive." They don't do anything anymore that necessarily surprises me. So when 5 players are in the final top 26 for USA Collegiate Softball Player of the Year, I'm not that shocked. I'm not that surprised. Kelly Maxwell, Jada Coleman, Kinsey Hansen, Tiare Jennings, Alyssa Brito in the 5. Take your pick there. I mean, any of those 5 would have a case. For me, I'm probably looking at Tiare and Brito, though. Man, Kelly Maxwell's been really good, right? Feel like they'll give it to a position player, or at least one of these position players. I go with Tiare, but Alyssa Brito's been really fantastic. But good luck to all 5. Like, I thought Jada got robbed last year. I think Jada should have been National Player of the Year. So maybe it'll happen for Jada this year. But whoever, I just hope that National Player of the Year award is awarded to an Oklahoma Sooner, because I think there's more than one player this year that deserves that. But have your moment. I mean, back to having the moment. You have a big moment this weekend, that can go a long way in helping you win the award, because a lot of people are going to be watching this series this weekend. That's for sure. A lot of people are going to be watching this series. Yeah. Future of Bedlam. Patty broke that down on Tuesday. Sounds like we will have a Bedlam game next year, which is cool, which is great. And sounds like we're going to play it in Oklahoma City, maybe one game. Awesome. This is me speculating. I would guess that one game is maybe earlier in the season, non-conference schedule. I mean, I just don't think that in the meat of the SEC schedule, they would play a highly emotional game against Oklahoma State and Oklahoma City. I could be wrong about that. Patty's saying that they don't have a date for it yet, but, her understanding it's on the books. And I thought there was interesting wording. Thought that there was interesting wording to this, because Patty said on the Bedlam game coming back in 2025, quote, "We reached out to them. We reached out to them. I think we came up with a mutual date. I don't know what it is, but the plan is to play at the Hall of Fame Stadium. There's been rumblings that I don't know about, except I do know that we reached out to them, and that sounds like it's happening." We reached out to them. I think maybe she said that 3 times in that statement. So I know that there was, the other side saying, well, they haven't reached out to us, so I haven't heard anything from Oklahoma, which I don't think that was necessarily true even a year ago. Patty really kind of, I think it's been looked over a little bit. Patty's made it clear, like, yeah, we reached out to them. Like, our side reached out to them to try to play next year. Regardless, I guess it's good that they do have a game on the books, but still thought it was funny nonetheless from Patty Gasso, because I think she feels the heat of that rivalry. I think that she definitely knows what's going on. But hey, back to the OU offense. This is a big test this weekend, is it not? I mean, you got Lexi Kilfoyle, second in ERA in the Big 12 with the 1.16 ERA. Ivy Rosenberg, 1.60 ERA. They got 2 pitchers in the top 4 of the Big 12 when it comes to ERA. So you're going to have to earn it this weekend. You're not just going to see a bunch of meatballs over the plate this weekend that you can hit over the scoreboard at Love's Field or anything like that. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to manufacture runs. You're going to have to run bases well. You're going to have to move runners over. You're going to have to get clutch hits with 2 outs, like some of the things that this team has not been great at this year. And that's just one of the many reasons why I think that this is such a fun series is to win this series or to even sweep this series, you're going to have to do some things offensively that maybe consistently you haven't done a great job of this year. And it's all the things I just said. Clutch 2-out hitting. What do you got with 2 outs? Don't leave runners on base. Get the big hit when you need to, move runners when you need to, all the little things. Like, I think this team at times has been way too reliant on trying to hit the 3-run home run, trying to hit the big home run. Like, that doesn't need to, I mean, those things will come. But to me, this weekend, man, move runners. You got a runner at third, less than 1 out, hit a sacrifice fly. It doesn't always need to be a 2-run home run because here's the truth of the matter, guys. Like, this team doesn't need to score 8 runs to win games this weekend against Oklahoma State. They're a good team, but the way that Kelly Maxwell is pitching right now, the way that Kierston Deal is pitching right now, you don't need 8 runs. You don't need 8 runs against Oklahoma State to go win a game. It would be nice. Of course it would be nice if they go out and look dominant offensively. But the way that Kelly Maxwell and the way that Kierston Deal is pitching right now, you may need about 4 runs to do so. So just be smart on the base path, manufacture runs the right way, and more than anything offensively, I think I'll be looking at clutch 2-out hitting. That could be the thing that ultimately decides this series. Because OU's going to get runners on base. OU's gotten runners on base all year long. It's been in the spots where we're used to this team being clutch, and boy, are we used to this program being clutch over the years. Those big hits just seemingly haven't happened as much as they have in the past. So hopefully that can be the case this weekend. And back to the main point, statement time, guys. This is it. Create that statement. Let this be the moment where we go back and say, they were playing pretty good softball before, but they put it on Oklahoma State. They really put it on OSU at Love's Field. That's when this team got hot. That's when this team started playing their best softball. And that's when we really started thinking again that, hey, this team can go win a national championship. Because a few weeks ago, Patty said herself, I don't think that this team is good enough to win a national championship. No one's really asked her, as far as I've heard. I don't know if her thoughts on that have changed, but I think all of our thoughts, her included, can really change if this looks like the team this weekend that we know that they're capable of being. Because they don't have to play over their heads. They don't have to do anything special. They've got to play blue-collar, championship mindset, OU softball. They got to be themselves. And we'll say, yeah, they're ready to go. They're ready to go win a national championship. But, I mean, there's just so many – I can sit here for 2 hours and break down all the interesting storylines for this game. I just talked about it with the OU offense. Again, I think that you can argue right now that OU's got the best 1-2 punch at starting pitcher in all of college softball right now, and I feel very comfortable about where they're at as starters, at least on Friday and Saturday. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But what's the answer out of the bullpen? I think that's a very valid question right now. What's the answer out of the bullpen? I don't think that they'll really have to rely on the bullpen on Friday. That's a guess for me. And, the emotions are going to be really high for Kelly Maxwell facing her former team. But I think that, she's going to be able to give you 7 solid innings. I'm there with Kierston Deal right now. But we even saw on Sunday a day where the offense was really good against UCF. Kelly Maxwell had to come in the game. Kierston Deal had to come in the game. And Katie let up a run. And there's been some spots this year where Kelly Maxwell's been good early on. But can Nicole May be someone you can trust in the circle? Can Carly Keeney be someone you can trust in the circle? Peyton Monticelli. I think it's fair to ask right now, if there's a game where they have to go to the bullpen, whose arm do you trust the most? I'd like for it to be Nicole May. I'd like for it to be Keeney. I'd like for it to not have to be Kelly Maxwell. I'll say that. I'd love it if Kelly Maxwell could just start Friday, Deal on Saturday, and then throw May out there on Sunday and feel like you got a great chance to win all 3 games. But if we're being honest, even though Nicole May's resume looks good, even though Nicole May has thrown some big innings and some big spots and come through clutch, it just doesn't feel like has her best stuff right now. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Kelly Maxwell on Friday, Kierston Deal on Saturday, and then Kelly Maxwell comes in again on Sunday. Like we saw that in the Texas series. We saw that in the BYU series. That's not necessarily best case, but could I see now that we're in the final regular season series of the year where the rotation starts to shrink? Yeah, and we've seen that in previous years, and that's been good enough still for OU to go win a national championship and accomplish all the things they want to accomplish. But I definitely thought earlier in the year this had the chance to be a staff that's 3 or 4 deep. But I think it's obvious who your best 2 are right now. And in the biggest games, you want those 2 pitchers in the circle. So what Nicole May's involvement in is this weekend is fascinating storyline number 300 of, 500 different storylines. Like, how is Nicole May used? Is Nicole May used now that Kierston Deal is the number 2 pitcher? I would guess that Nicole May gets a spot. Being, the senior weekend and everything, I would guess that Nicole May's out there. Is it as a starter? Is it as a reliever? What does she look like when she's out there? We call her Steady Eddie on the show for a reason. I mean, that's what she's been throughout her entire career. But you need more out of Nicole May than what you're getting right now. The good news is that I don't think there's a whole lot of environments or situations that are going to phase her that much just because she's been in so many in the past. But let's hope the Nicole May story here at OU ends up on a high note. No, I don't think that there'll be a scenario where she ends the year as the number 1 starter, the number 2 starter. But I'm hoping that she has a real role and can give OU some really solid innings and some tough spots here moving forward. Hey, but as always, I'm interested in what you guys think is going to happen this weekend, what some of the bigger storylines are. At Tyler_McComas on Twitter. Hit me up there. Striped Stadium this weekend is going to look really cool. I believe that happens on Saturday, but that place is going to be a madhouse this weekend, and I cannot wait to watch it. I wish I was going to be there. I'll actually be in New York this weekend, so I'll be monitoring all 3 softball games. God, I would love to be there. Standing room only. I don't care. I wish I was there this weekend. Yes, I wish I was at Love's Field and not at New York this weekend. I definitely said that out loud, and I definitely meant it. But that place is going to be a zoo. It was great that opening weekend. It was awesome that opening weekend. But Bedlam coming to town, the final regular season series of the year, Oklahoma State, who you may not play in a series for a long time, the place is going to be insane. Insane. And if you have a moment where OU hits a 3-run bomb towards the end of the game that clearly decides things, or, man, Kelly Maxwell gets a big strikeout late to end the thread, and she's all pumped up because you know that Kinsey Hansen's going to pump her up in a spot like that. There's so many fun potential moments to think about how loud that crowd is going to get at times. But a lot of emotion for Kelly Maxwell. Woo! Or Oklahoma State fans upset about her transferring to OU. And thankfully she did. She's been such a massive part of this team. But, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if that gets a little spicy this weekend. I think that there will be some drama one way or the other. I know I've said it multiple times now, but there's no way that it doesn't have a lot of drama this weekend with what's on the line in the Big 12 race, postseason, all that. It's Bedlam. I think we know how the 2 teams feel about each other. The home crowd will be chirping a lot, which I do encourage that. If you're going to Love's Field, go ahead and do the chirping there. Kenny Gajewski, whoever you want to do it to, just, go ahead and get the chirping going on. But the fact that Kelly Maxwell's in the other dugout, this is OSU's first crack at her and her first crack at her old lineup. I mean, Friday night's going to be game 1 Friday night's going to be interesting for sure. Must watch television. Good thing that you're going to be able to watch all 3 this weekend. But no, it's going to be fun. This is the best time of the year, guys. This is the best time of the year. When we're sitting around in December in the bitter cold, just praying like, God, when is softball season going to get here? This is the time of year that we think about during the offseason. This is the time that we can't wait for. Big 12 tournament next weekend, regionals, super regionals. Women's College World Series is a lot closer than we think. This is the best time of the year, and let this be the weekend. Let this be the series where we come out and say, dang, that's OU. That's the OU that we've been waiting on to see. So, no, but hit me with those predictions this weekend, with those post-game thoughts. Twitter at Tyler_McComas. Facebook, you can add me as well, Tyler McComas, or you can just drop me a comment on here as well, and I'll get to those on Sunday. But I can't wait. And my prediction? Oh, I'll give you a Bedlam prediction. And I'll go game by game, actually. How about that? I will be on record for my game-by-game predictions in one of the biggest series of the year. Game 1, I think Kelly Maxwell starts. I think Kelly Maxwell has a fantastic start to the game. But I think Oklahoma State in the circle, maybe it's Lexi Kilfoyle there, has a really good start as well. I think that this game is going to be defined late, where Oklahoma State has a couple of runners in scoring position with 1 or 2 outs. And I think Kelly Maxwell works out of a top of the 6th inning jam with OU leading 2-1. And that place goes insane when she gets out of that jam without Oklahoma State tying the game. So 2-1, I'm going to get real specific on these game predictions here. There's no way I hit any of these, but if I do, I would like to, have some props on Sunday if that's the case. 2-1, top of the 6th. Oklahoma State threatens. Kelly Maxwell gets out of the jam. Everyone's fired up. OU comes to the plate, scores 1. They shut out Oklahoma State at the top of the 7th. OU wins 3-1 on Friday. All right? How's that sound? Game 2, OU gets some runs early, gets a little cushion there for Kierston Deal. OU takes an early 2-0 lead, and they kind of carry that until the 5th inning. Oklahoma State scratches 1 across, but then OU gets 2 back in the bottom of the inning. I think Kierston Deal is going to have another gem. I think Kierston Deal is going to be right there once again for the big old pitcher of the week for the 3rd consecutive week. OU is going to win game 2 5-1 over the Cowgirls, as T.R.E. Jennings will have a big-time 2-run home run in this game. And then game 3 is going to be Kelly Maxwell back in the circle. Kelly Maxwell back in the circle again against her former team. And I think on Sunday is when you're going to see the most runs in this series. And I think by Sunday, everyone could be dog-tired of the series. With all of the emotion that's going to go in the first 2 games, I think we're going to go to Sunday, and you're probably going to see the most runs scored out of the entire weekend. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think this is going to be 14-11 or anything like that. But I think both teams maybe get a couple of runs across early in the game. But OU outslugs Oklahoma State, and OU wins the finale 8-6. Jada Coleman hits 2 runs in this game. What does that all equal? The bold prediction of OU sweeping the series over Oklahoma State. And OU is crowned conference champions and the number 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament next week once again. Very specific predictions. I do not think any of those will remotely happen. I hope they do. Of course I hope they do. And there's obviously some things I feel confident about with Kelly Maxwell and some other things happening this weekend. But very specific predictions. Hopefully I'm right. I'm probably not. But let's hope OU can sweep all 3 games in this series. Appreciate you guys' support as always. Really, it means the world to me that I'll put out the podcast. You guys are tweeting out for me that the podcast has been released and telling people to listen to it. Seriously, thank you. That's amazing. And Sooner Shy, I told you that we're going to get an interview going in the offseason. That's happening. I didn't just say that on social media just to say it. It's happening. You, Jessica, Mark, Gunny, we're going to make this thing a party in the offseason, and hopefully we're talking about OU winning its 4th consecutive national championship. But enjoy the games this weekend. And as always, thank you for listening to the Diamond Envy podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas. I'll talk to you on Sunday.